again.
Here we are, another fantastic podcast coming to you. Yep, your boys are coming back via Zoom. We haven't had time to get into the studio.
I think a lot of people like the Zoomiverse, right? We got the backdrops. We're rolling now.
I like it when we're in 3D and we're in the studio, but man, we've just been busy. So this is the
Right.
next best thing, and it works.
It works.
It
Yep.
works. But we got a good one for him today. Yeah.
Always do, man. We're always coming through. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think you viewers, everybody who's watching this, you're going to definitely get some value from this. We have a great guest for you. We're honored to virtually sit down with someone who's become a behind the scenes powerhouse in
Mhm.
the real estate investor, real estate agent, and the data world. Mr.
Right.
Atchuta, Mr. Atchuta Neelam, he's the founder of realsupermarket.com. So if
Mhm.
you've heard of big names like RealtyTrac or Foreclosures Daily, I know Foreclosures Daily, REIFAX, or even
Mhm.
Clever Investor, chances are Atchuta and his team supported their success.
Yeah.
Now, for over 14 years, Real Supermarket has been, well, for me, the go-to source
Mhm.
for off-market real estate data, skip tracing, lead generation, and marketing support. They serve not only real estate investors, but real estate agents, wholesalers, and some of the top real estate educators in the country. But
Well,
what's even more than that is they earned Fiverr's prestigious bestseller award and built a business that thrives on repeat and referral clients. And that's a true sign of quality. You and I know.
absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But before we bring Achuta on, I just want to say his company is not just about data, it's about growth, it's about relationships, and giving real estate professionals like you and I the tools that we need to dominate our marketplace. So if you're serious
Mhm.
about adding off market deals, whether it's probate leads or pre probate leads, investor buyers, if you're interested in adding that to your business, this episode is a must listen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's bring our boy on.
Yeah, so without further ado, we'd like to welcome to the Probate Hero Collective, Mr. Atchuta Neelam.
Mr. Tudor, come on down.
I'm gonna have to unmute him. Let me
Yeah,
know.
mute and then get I think the video screen.
Let's see. I
All
think
right.
he's still
Well,
muted.
he's coming on. He's just finishing getting ready. We'll have the screen on here in a second.
There
There
he
he
is.
is.
There
Hi,
he is.
Gary. How are you?
Hey, thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
No, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh man, we really appreciate it. Now, for our viewers, we're touching all ends of the globe with this podcast. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Achuta, you're in London right now. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in London. My team is based in India.
See
What,
that?
what's the time zone right now?
It's 11 p.m.
Okay.
Rock stars,
Rocks.
working, hustling. That's what we're
Yep.
talking about.
Yep. He drank a couple extra cups of coffee to stay awake to be here with all of us today.
For sure.
Thank you.
Well, Achuta, Ray and I are really excited. This is Ray Marquez. You haven't had a chance to meet him in person yet. This
Hi,
is
hi, Ray.
Yeah, I heard a lot about you. We get the lead, so we're excited for this episode.
yeah.
Thank you, Ray.
We just did a great introduction for you, which you're going to see later when I send you the video. But we've Ray and I crunched our brains together, and
Mhm.
we didn't want to waste your time. We really respect your time and you being here, and we really wanted to bring some tremendous value to our viewers, something that they can take away from this episode, and reach out to you and get involved in what you're doing to help their businesses grow. So
Right.
if you don't mind, we'd like to just start kind of throwing some questions your way.
No problem. That I can take them. Mhm.
Right on.
Okay, well, Atchuta, so let me ask you for the real estate agents, right, who are listening, who want to start working with investors, where's the best place to find high quality off market opportunities right now? I mean, where's something they would be able to accomplish that? What would you suggest?
Um, Public records is a wonderful source to start with. And I'm working with several hundred agents, and I've been doing this for the last 15 years. I started work with Senior Gary around 15 years ago. I'm fortunate enough to work with him and gain a lot of knowledge from him. That aside, public records and updated public records, when I say that, we can pull data from public records, which can be a good off-market motivated seller list. When I say that, these homeowners are not yet ready for the market in terms of already listed, but they are very soon going to be there for listing, and they want to sell these properties. That's the reason I say public records. Anything which is beyond that or which is in the public domain, everyone knows about it. But agent, if they have to gain advantage or get the first mover advantage, this is the source to be. And this can translate into several types of lists like probate, pre-probate, divorce, eviction, code violation, tax delinquent, and so on. But the source to start with is public records. And what we do is not rocket science. Anyone with good knowledge can pull this information, but what we bring to the table is convenience and in a cost-effective way.
So public record, yeah, that's where I get 95% of my leads and my business from. It's all from public record data.
Yeah.
So Atchuta, your company earned Fiverr's prestigious bestseller award, and your company thrives. And I said this in the intro. Your company thrives on repeat and referral clients, which is huge. So, with that being said, can you break down what makes realsupermarket.com different from other data providers, and what is it? What brings your clients to keep coming back to you and your company year after year?
There are several factors. One is we pull data after the customer places an order. So data is always fresh. So that's one part. The second part is we provide a free sample, and the customer can view at the free sample and see what they actually receive after the order is placed. The third part is if the customer is not happy, we give 100% refund, no questions asked. The fourth is we provide customized service. All big companies which are there in the market has a standard product. So we can customize based on our knowledge of the domain and so on, and work closely with our customers so that they get what they want. A simple example, customers say, I don't want properties in a particular area within that county. We can do that for you. Or they would say, sometimes customers ask for what we call stacking of leads, a probate and a foreclosure together, probate and an absentee owner, probate inherited and out-of-state owners. These are good candidates for listing. Divorce, and they own property in a different city. Currently, they're not living in that city. Is a good candidate for listing. So we can do that. And there is no mandatory subscription. Customers can choose to have subscription if they want to get a better deal. Else, they can buy ad hoc as and when required. So they buy the data, work on that list, come back to us and to buy a new list.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. And you know, I mean, it's very obvious why you've won right, these awards, because from what I'm hearing, very customer oriented, right? You give the customer what they want, you make sure they're satisfied, and that goes with any business. I mean, at the end of the day, the customers are who you're providing. And so by you doing all the service you're providing, I mean, that's why you're having such great success with repeat and referral business. Now, but let me ask you this. So what are the common mistakes you see agents or wholesalers make when it comes to sourcing or working their lead lists?
That's a good point. There are, again, our lists are niche. Having said that, we also provide the generic list like absentee, vacant, and so on. The aged homes with aged owners and or high equity lists and so on. But the niche lists are what matters most because people don't really consider the entire cost of marketing and the time we spend on the entire campaign. For example, someone would go to PropStream and say they get 10,000 records for $100. And 10,000 records is a lot of data. But if you have to market to those 10,000 records, if I take an average of $1 per record, it would be $10,000. Setting aside the time required, the follow-up, and so on and so forth. And that costs something like more than $10,000 in simple terms. Unlike the generic data, if they go to a niche data, the data cost may be 300 or 400. And $1 each per record would be something like again, would be less than $1,000 all put together. The conversion rate for a niche list is much, much higher vis-a-vis compared to a generic list. So one loses the point that the overall cost of marketing needs to be considered vis-a-vis just the data cost. So in the first instance, when the instance of niche marketing, it would cost less than $1,000. In other cases, it will be more than $10,000. And the hit rate in a niche market is much higher. Usually, we recommend something like 1 to 2% conversion rate. That's first part. Many customers don't follow up with the leads.
Right.
I was talking to a few coaches in this real estate space. They say that the money starts trickling in after the 6th contact. So sending mailers once or calling them once does not really give results. Had it been the case, everyone would have been in the real estate industry. So the money is in the follow-up, like the marketing guru says. And I truly believe in it. And that's how some of my customers who are very successful differentiates themselves with the rest.
Yeah, Ray and I can speak to that from personal experience. We work with the leads data that you provide us. We're customers of yours, and if any of the viewers watching, you've seen some of our previous episodes, this speaks exactly to what Atchuta was just saying. You heard us straight from our mouth. Deals that we were talking about, we were following up for months. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of contact before we were able to get an appointment and get the deal. So Atchuta just reinforced what Ray and I have been saying. The fortune is in the follow-up.
Well, we've been preaching that from day one. It's follow-up, because again, you're calling these, potential leads, and right, it's a straight cold call. So you really have to connect, compassion, right? Show your value and continue to follow up. And you just hit it on the nail. I mean, that's what we've been preaching. That goes with anything, right? In this niche, it's all in the follow-up. And you're right. If you haven't talked to them at least 6, 7 times, right, but you just got to keep going, because eventually, if they are going to do something and you're the person that's there, you're giving them something of value, you're going to be the one, because a lot of agents fall off after the 2nd or 3rd attempt, and that's the reality.
Yeah, and for the agents that are in our audience right now that are watching this, and you're getting excited and you want to contact Atchuta so you can start getting his lead source for you, you got to remember the fortune's in the follow-up. The man said it himself. It's going to take, the coaches that he works with say the money starts to come in after, the sixth phone call or so. So that just reinforces what Ray and I are saying.
Good. One other thing I would like to add is having a mechanism to track all the leads. For example, I work with some investors and agents who keep track of last 18 months to 24 months probates, for example. And they manage that database or the contact list very actively. So every month they say what is already sold, they just delete it and add to the new list and run a campaign on it. And that process or the wheel of follow-up has to continue, and it's a continuous process. Initially, it may take a few hours more, but once we have that system in place, we have a constant flow of leads that will help our business grow.
That's exactly what Ray and I do. We follow the leads, and the ones that die off, we delete them, and we're constantly filling that pipeline with new leads that run through a series of campaigns on a 30-day cycle.
Exactly.
We can attest to exactly what you're saying, and I hope the viewers are taking notes on this. Atchuta is backing up everything that we've been telling you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, here's a great question for you, Atchuta. That's right in your wheelhouse. It's about skip tracing. So skip tracing, the data accuracy, that's huge. That's a huge part of it, especially with what Ray and I do with probates and pre-probates. So my question is, how does your team ensure the quality behind the accuracy of the data that you're providing?
I would divide your question into two parts. One is the probate data. The data itself, we can vouch for 100% accuracy. But skip tracing, I can never say that we're 100% accurate. That's the reason I differentiate between the two services. Skip tracing, what we do is, it's like you said, finding of contact details of someone we don't know. So what avenues we have is, we have avenues like social media. Many a times customers or the families provide the contact details while they file various documents at the county clerk websites and so on. If the data is available, well and good, it's 100% accurate, but that's not the case always. So what we do is we check social media. We check the personal details of the person. For example, someone is 75 years old, have a similar last name. We check obituaries, whether the names are matching with the deceased or not, and then we pull that information. And we don't give one number, we give multiple numbers. And having said that, if somebody says my skip tracing accuracy is 100%, don't trust them, because it can never be.
And you said that from day one, and I'll speak to that to all the viewers. Like I said, Ray and I, we're clients of Atchuta, and when we get our data from him for probates, pre-probates, especially the pre-probate, we're getting 3 to 4 cell phone numbers and then 3 to 4 landline numbers and multiple email addresses. So there's just multiple different ways that we're able to, we might call one number and it's the wrong number, but we have 3 other phone numbers that we can call. We're gonna connect on one of those. Cell phone's not working. We have 3 landline and emails that we get to check. So the data is vast in comparison to some of the competitors that I've worked with before my father and Atchuta linked up, and then we started working together. The data that Atchuta and his team are providing, in my opinion, is just superior, because you're given so much more. Sometimes you don't need it, all of it, but a lot of the times you're grateful that it's there. It's better to have all of it and not need it than to need multiple points of contact and not have it. And Achuta's team provides all of that to us. So I just want to speak to that.
Yeah. Great insight. So, last question here. Now, if an agent, they want to add, let's say, 2, 3 listings or more, consistently using your service, I mean, what would their weekly action plan? I mean, what would it look like if they wanted to consistently get business?
Um, okay, a couple of things. We sell data per record. Customers can choose counties and they can choose multiple lead types from counties. Like, for example, we have several offerings like probate, pre-probate, inheritance data, divorce filings, eviction data, code violations, and a host of 32 lead types. So customer, whoever comes to us will initially say, I need a free sample, and we provide them. Then they choose, then we give an indicative count of, indicative what volumes are there for a week or so. Every week, that's indicator. I'm giving an estimate because we don't have data off the shelf. We pull data after an order is placed. So once the order is placed, we give the data within 48 hours. And customers can choose various combinations, multiple lead types in a county, or multiple lead types in multiple counties, and they can include something and exclude something. For example, I was saying exclude a couple of zip codes which are not really lucrative in terms of listings and so on. And there is no mandatory subscription. You say customers can opt and say, can you send me weekly? If there is a subscription, we send the data on a specific date they want, a specific day of the week they want. Else, we provide the data. Then we ask you again after a week saying that, are you ready for the new update or fresh leads? And then we provide. So choice, we are flexible, Ray, and we want to work with our customers. We want them to succeed. And we can put everything in a Google Drive so that everything gets recorded at its point or at one place, and we can delete the old ones, add new ones. We check whether the ownership has changed or not, so on and so forth. So that part makes it easier for our agent customers, our wholesale customers, and so on.
So what you're saying, the bottom line is, if an agent wants to succeed and add 2, 3, 4 or more, it's all right there on the table, but the agent's got to work the business and the follow, right? But if they want it, it'll be right there waiting for them.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And we can modify if the agent says something is not working, we are open to working with them, make modifications. Ultimately, if our agent makes money, we make money. Otherwise, there's no money for anyone in the industry.
That's right.
Atchuta, tell us, not only is Ray and I interested, but I'm sure our audience is also. How did you get into this line of work?
That's a good question. I was in US before 2007. I was an IT professional, and I got trained I worked with people like Cody, Phil, Freedom Mentor, and so on and so forth. And during the conversation with them, I identified there is an area which needs to be tapped. Everyone has the knowledge. What I do is not rocket science. I'm being honest with you, Gary. But what I bring to the table is convenience and cost effectiveness. So this area is untapped at that moment of time. So I started providing leads to students of these trainers to start, and over a period of time, built a massive list of customers. So if you look at anyone in the industry, big players like Atom Data, Foreclosures Daily, or whoever it is, buys data from us.
Very impressive.
Absolutely.
What we're going to do for the audience is in the show notes when we post this, we're going to provide the link to Atchuta's website. We're going to provide his contact. Can we provide your email address so they can email you directly?
Sure. I have a special offer. If somebody mentions that we are on the show, I can give a 50% discount up to 15th of July.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? So
talking about.
between now and July 15th,
Yep.
if you're watching this and you contact Atchuta and you subscribe to his service, he's
Put in
going
the notes, Probate Hero podcast, right?
yeah, just mention,
Exactly. Probate Hero. They can write Probate Hero, and
mention
I'll offer it. Mhm.
there it is. You mentioned in the email to Atchuta that you saw it on Probate Hero, and he's going to give you a 50% discount if you sign up between now and July 15th. You got to jump on that right now. That's
That's a
amazing
no-brainer.
yeah. Thank you for offering that to our audience.
Yeah.
That's
It's my pleasure.
that is huge.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions. You hit every single one out of the park.
Yeah.
You have anything else you'd like to add, Ray?
No, I think this was a great, right? Because we're over here talking on the front end, what's going on, but obviously where all this is data and information is coming from is right here. This guy right here on the podcast. He's the guy, he's a wizard right behind pulling all the strings. So anybody can succeed in this lane of work. And you got no excuses now because the lead source is right here on this podcast, and he's rolled out a tremendous value proposition and to order it. So no excuses.
There's no excuses. And
no excuses.
for those of you watching that have contacted Ray and I, who love content, you really want to know, what's under the hood. Where are we getting our data from? Well, here you go.
Here you go.
He just brought it to you, and he gave you an offer that you can't refuse. Are you sure you're not Italian? You made an offer that they can't refuse.
You can see I'm an Indian.
Well, it was an Italian offer, I'll tell you that. Atchuta, man, we're very grateful for your time. I know it's late there. Thank you so much for
No problem.
us and sharing this incredible info. If anybody has any questions when you're watching this, pop it into the chat down below. Like I said, Achuta's contacts will be in the show notes. So reach out to him directly, mention that you saw him on the Probate Hero, and he's going to give you a phenomenal offer so you can start utilizing this amazing data that Ray and I are working with every week. So it's the same, it's the same source that's providing the heroes our data. So you ain't going to get it from anywhere else any better. So it'll all be there for you. Atchuta, man, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
You
Have
got
a
it.
wonderful rest of the day.
We'll be in touch. Good night.
Thank
As
you.
always, let's bring it out. We got to bring it out.
As always, this has
Cheers.
been the Probate Hero Collective. I'm Gary.
I'm Ray.
And this has been Atchuta Neelam coming to you directly. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.